Hello listeners. Welcome to this video where we will explore 30 curiosities about the Barbie movie.
When I wake up in my own pink world.
The enormous success of Barbie is no secret, as it has broken several records. It became the first movie directed solely by a woman to surpass $1 billion, surpassing Transformers. The Dark Side of the Moon became the highest-grossing movie of 2023, surpassing The Famous Plumber and becoming Warner Brothers' highest-grossing film, surpassing the second part of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This served as a significant box office relief for the studio, considering their recent failures in 2023. They received a payment of $12.5 million for their roles. And if that weren't enough, since Margot Robbie also produced the movie through her company, Lucky Chap Entertainment, she will receive a percentage of the box office profits. According to sources, she will receive around $50 million in salary and box office bonuses. Margot Robbie spoke about how Clueless set the bar very high for cinematic wardrobes with the virtual wardrobe casting, so the Barbie team wanted to do something equally cool, making Barbie's wardrobe literally magical. Furthermore, if we look closely, several of the garments are from Chanel, and Margot Robbie was the brand's ambassador for several years. In contrast to what usually happens, the Spanish dubbing this time received praise from the Latin American audience for making the double entendre jokes much more explicit in the Spanish version. In Barbiland Beach, you can see a statue of a Pegasus, reminiscent of the Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus movie. You can also see an image of a Barbie as a fairy, in reference to Barbie, a fairy secret. During dance rehearsals for the film, Kenshi showed that he could do backflips, which made Ryan Gosling a little jealous. This reaction inspired the rivalry that their characters have in the film. When we see how a Barbie is created, we can also see a box with a game called One Stack, also from Mattel. Similar to Hasbro's Jenga, it involved stacking blocks, but in this case, it combined the gameplay of the classic one with cards. The director mentioned several classic films that inspired certain aspects of her movie, such as Barbie's Awakening, inspired by the morning routine of an American in Paris, the hairstyle with the pink bow as a nod to the umbrellas of Cherbourg, the transparent mirror as in The Chick's Terror, and Barbie ascending long stairs as in The Red Shoes. Greta also spoke with the director of The Truman Show, which is about a man who unknowingly lives in a television program. They discussed how to film scenes to create that sense of artificiality without being cheesy. For Barbie, Greta used many old-school practical effects. Real settings, hand-painted backgrounds, tricks with cranks to create the sensation of movement, such as waves. All of this with the purpose of reviving the lost art in a world where computer-generated effects abound. Remember that Greta also opposed the idea the studio had of using CGI for the scene with Barbie's feet, preferring that Margot herself be in the scene. Margot Robbie had already worked closely with Kate McKinnon in The Scandal. In that movie, McKinnon's character, Embittered Extra, was compared to a Barbie the Barbie reporter, ironically. Margot didn't see herself as Barbie. In fact, at the beginning of the production, in her role as a producer, she wanted Gal Gadot to play the famous doll, but she wasn't available. That's when Greta convinced Margot to play the role of Barbie herself. The elderly woman Barbie encounters in the real world is portrayed by Anne Rode, a two-time Oscar-winning costume designer. The director mentioned that this scene almost didn't make it into the final product. Executives wanted to remove it because they felt it was unnecessary for the plot, to which the director responded, "If I remove it, I don't know what the movie is about." The way Mark acts during this sequence is so delicate and natural that for the director, this was the heart of the film. It was Barbie's first encounter with aging. In addition to the reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey, the director confirmed other tributes to the legendary Kubrick, such as the way the hematocrats are gathered around a table with a large lamp above, just like the war room in Dr. Strangelove. "Hello, Clara," an allusion to the glow made by little Gamora when she sees the strange connection between Barbie and her mother experiencing the glow. On the other hand, the peculiar design of the cubicles in Mattel's offices was inspired by Jacques Tati's Playtime. And since we're here, it's worth noting the subtle Warner Brothers Easter egg in another building to remind us that this film is their creation. When Barbie first meets her creator and she serves her a cup of tea for a moment, their hands touch like in Michelangelo's fresco, The Creation of Adam, where God gives life to the first man. In this case, Ruth is the goddess of Barbie's creation. It's worth mentioning that here, Ruth Handler is portrayed by Hyperman, an actress some may better recognize as Matilda's mother. The most famous owl attended the movie's premiere. Of course, makes sense when we notice that Gloria's husband is learning Spanish with Duolingo in the film. This man, by the way, in real life, is the husband of actress America Ferrera. After returning to Baru and seeing the Ken dolls having their Top Gun moment, we see the appearance of John Cena. It was revealed that his cameo happened due to an encounter he had with Margot Robbie during the filming of Fast and Furious 10 Inches because this movie was being shot near Barbie, so they bumped into each other. Margot invited him, and that's how this cameo came to be. The fact that Barbie Oppenheimer and Barbieheimer were released on the same day led to the Barberheimer phenomenon, where people flocked to the cinema to support both films. It was described as the cinematic event of the year, and it certainly yielded results as both films exceeded their expectations, generating huge box office revenues without being sequels or superhero movies. Although, well, Barbie is also based on a toy, it is extremely popular. It's not like it's entirely independent. Either way, it's good news for the box office. Even Francis Ford Coppola, the director of The Godfather, described this phenomenon as a victory for cinema. In Barbie's vehicle, you can see the odometer number 0319591, a reference to the first Barbie doll, which was launched in March 1959. When they talk and confront the Kens at the construction site, one of them recites the slogans that appeared on his box when he was first released. One of the most discussed moments in the movie is Gloria's monologue about how difficult and contradictory it is to be a woman. The actress revealed that it took 2 days to film this scene, saying that she probably repeated the speech between 30 and 50 times. According to Greta, this moment brought tears to everyone on set, including the men. The director reasoned that it was because men also have their own speech that they feel they can never deliver every day while filming. Margot gave Ryan Gosling a beach-themed pink gift to help him get into character, although the strangest gift was a book about horses, which ended up making it into the movie. According to Ryan, he read it and really liked it. Composer Mark Ronson, after reading the Barbie script, sympathized with Ken's character, and it inspired him to write the lyrics for Goodbye Ken, which started as a joke. He didn't really expect it to be included in the film, but when Ryan saw it, he said he felt a strong connection to the lyrics and even told Greta that he wanted to sing it, managing to sell it like no one else could. Some musicians who also contributed to the song were Slash, the guitarist Wolfgang Van Halen, and the drummer Josh Freese. All of this, combined with the choreography, the gray-themed look, and singing in the rain, resulted in the film's most iconic moment. Greta Gerwig turned 40 on August 4th, which Ryan Gosling celebrated with a surprise. It was a flash mob, a group of people dancing to the songs Angels Ken and Dance Night at a moment when the Kens are pretending to ride horses. It's reminiscent of the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where King Arthur and his knights rode imaginary horses. Near the end, one of the characters mentions missing their friend Barbie, referring to the character portrayed by Emma Mackey. This, of course, recalls the fact that they both star in the Netflix series Sex Education. The other actor from the series, Connor Swindles, also makes an appearance as a Mattel employee, although he doesn't interact with the other characters. There are references to Barbie's sisters in some way. Skipper is the only one who appears as such in 2 versions. Stacy appears as a doll in the credits and is mentioned in the lyrics of Barbie World's rap. Lastly, Chelsea's name can be seen in a drawing inside a purple house, which would be Chelsea's treehouse. Besides visual influences, there is a clear reference in Barbie's cinema, where Greta wanted to create a similar ending to The Wizard of Oz, with a moment that seems almost ceremonial, explaining what will happen to each of the characters, something she wanted to emulate with Barbie, Kens, and humans. According to Margot, without the success of Wonder Woman and Patty Jenkins's impact on Hollywood, Barbie might not have been approved. They believe that Patty Jenkins's film had an impact on Hollywood, opening doors for more stories of this kind, starring and directed by women. So Margot and Greta hope that with Barbie, more women can take charge of big productions and prove they can be profitable. Greta also confessed that she was deeply moved by Gal Gadot attending the premiere of Barbie, seeing it as a vote of confidence, a good omen when Ruth is showing Barbie what it means to live. There is a montage of women at different stages of their lives in this scene. All of them are friends and family of the cast and production team. Greta wanted to include this to give the film a more personal touch and, at the same time, pay tribute to those involved. This is complemented by Billie Eilish's theme, who with her sweet singing conveys Barbie's struggle to find her purpose in life. Barbie's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts. Here she chooses to call herself Barbara Handler in honor of the daughter of Barbie's creator, who is mentioned. Although the real Barbara doesn't appear in the film, she gave her approval to Margot Robbie, believing that her mother would have been proud to see her doll come to life on the big screen. Mattel has confirmed that they have started working on several projects based on the toys, including Polly Pocket, Hot Wheels, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Magic Age Vol. 1, Thomas and Friends, and many more. Of course, it will take a long time for all of this to come to fruition, and some of these ideas may even be cancelled. One thing is certain, none of these projects will likely surpass the phenomenon that was Barbie. Now let's move on to the reviews, and there's a lot to talk about, but let's simplify it. Overall, the film has been positively praised for its production design, which makes it visually stunning, its costumes, the soundtrack, the performances of Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, as well as its cleverness in both admiring and poking fun at its source material. It provides social commentary on the Barbie doll, acknowledging both the good and the bad, and addressing themes such as feminism, patriarchy, the pressures of perfection, and the meaning of life, while also teaching the value of individuality and self-love. However, it's not all rosy for Barbie. The humor, while clever in some cases, can be seen as silly or uncomfortable in others. It has also been criticized for having a somewhat disorderly script that tries to convey many things through dialogue instead of focusing on the story and character development. There's no denying the rejection it has received from a certain part of the audience. Some consider it anti-men, as they believe it exaggerates certain aspects of the real world in its storytelling. On the other hand, there are disappointed parents who took their children thinking it would be a children's movie and were unprepared for the themes that were explored. But as always, everyone will have their opinion, so whether you loved it, hated it, or are somewhere in between, let me know in the comments. Meanwhile, let's conclude with the best part of the film. If you liked the video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as it helps to create more and more interesting videos for you. See you later.